We are fortunate to have our next speaker, Mr. Jeremy Kelm, a youth icon from USA, graduate from Wayne State University, Detroit, USA. Sir will be going live with us today, so I request our technical team to get Sir on the screen. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for that intro. And wow, have we heard from some very excellent and distinguished speakers today. It's quite the acts to follow. My name is Jeremy Kelm, and I am currently a graduate student at Wayne State University, located in the USA. I would like to begin by first thanking Jaihind People's Movement, especially Dr. Tambe and conference coordinator Dr. Gavandi, for inviting me to this global conference and giving me the opportunity to speak about the relevance of Mahatma Gandhi in the 21st century. I recently became a Jaihind Global Movement's member, and I support their initiatives for global peace, harmony, and social progress. My colleague, Michael Crowley, a few speakers previous, already discussed the first four social sins that Mahatma Gandhi put forward. Here, I'm going to discuss the remaining three, and those are going to be science without humanity, spirituality without principles, and lastly, politics without principles. So we'll begin with science without humanity. There is absolutely no denying that science has improved the human condition. With science, we have found treatments and vaccines for conditions that historically have devastated populations and toppled economies. Science has similarly allowed for the creation of a more robust and nutritious food supply, which requires fewer farmers, even if the distribution of access to this food has at times been inequitable. However, history has provided repeated examples whereby the advancement of science was prioritized over the welfare of humanity. For example, an abundance of economic resources are prioritized to military defense spending, as many of our other speakers have discussed today. And the development of weapons for whose only purpose is to take human lives. To be certain, this spending does not translate to greater peace or reduced human suffering. Advancement of military science is a way by which one country gains disproportionate influence and access to resources globally, and therefore places greater value on citizens of one country over another. Reducing military spending, as the last speaker discussed, by just even a fraction in countries such as the USA, China, or Russia would be sufficient to end world hunger, even if just one of them made a marginal decrease in their military spending, it would be sufficient. Beyond violence and devaluing human life, the advancement of science without concern for humanity can create an array of socioeconomic issues. With expanding use of automation and artificial intelligence technologies, employment opportunities are lost, particularly among those of lower socioeconomic classes. And these jobs that have been replaced by these technologies are predominantly from those of lower socioeconomic status. As a society, we must ensure that the economic benefits yielded by these new technologies are felt by all members of society, not strictly the upper class. To mitigate the economic stratification that is natural to our evolving global economy, we must take steps to ensure that no one is left behind. Consideration should be made for policies that promote education and training for alternative career paths better aligned with the current economic need, and or the provision of a universal basic income for all citizens. I would like to now turn to a modern example whereby the human race still has a chance to prioritize humanity while simultaneously advancing science. The development of a safe and effective vaccine for COVID-19 has the potential to significantly improve the human condition and prevent global economic turmoil. A theoretical concern exists, however, whereby the country that obtains the first viable vaccine may prioritize its distribution not in accordance with humanitarianism, but rather restricting its access as a bargaining chip on the worldwide stage. As a human race, we are all in this together, and I would like to see that access to a vaccine is not impeded by nationalism. Spirituality without principles. Although Gandhi talked exclusively about religion, in this case, the principle can be applied to any type of spiritual belief, religious or not. When you profess a belief, you should be prepared to turn what's into your mind, in your heart, into action. Religion without sacrifice is a social sin because beliefs without action lose most of their value. In the name of their god or gods, humans have spawned and justified more hate and violence than any governmental body. Most religions emphasize spirituality, love, compassion, understanding, and appreciation for one another. So we see a disconnect here between what religion professes and what its existence actually manifests as. Third, politics without principles. Politics are the only method by which society has to peacefully engage in social discourse. And without proper social discourse, violence can quickly erupt in society. Globally, we as a society are witnessing a great deal of politics without principle. Politics has unfortunately become a way by which we are divided, rather than functioning as a pressure relief valve for society. However, the current state of politics is no excuse to not participate in politics. If the system in its current state is maintained, it's because of our own action or inaction individually and collectively. We're all involved in politics either actively or passively. The question is whether our participation contributes to strengthening values in politics or not. Thank you, and please show compassion for others and be well. And again, thank you for having me here today.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate your going live with us.